Good evening. Patrick here, Eight Questions With. Welcome to the show. I'm currently looking outside a wet and rainy Michigan night. Um, yeah, we're supposed to get rain, pretty much supposed to get rain tonight and all day tomorrow. So much fun, so much fun. Well, glad you guys are here with us. A lot of activity in the world of showbiz this weekend. Many of you went and saw Late Night with the Devil, and are now posting your reviews about it. Yes, I will be getting to that movie sooner than later. Um, it's one of those things where I have to hope and wait that the library will drop a copy of that down so I can pick it up. Hey, Joshua, how are you, sir? How are you? I have to wait for that to happen. So I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. And I'm looking forward to getting that. It looks absolutely phenomenal. Um, I know some people weren't as enamored of it as some others, but that's okay. Um, I know a lot of people were saying that about the latest Ghostbusters too. Frozen Empire seemed to be frozen in dialogue and not much action. That's not a good thing for a Ghostbusters movie, but it's sort of par for the course because that's sort of like the first Ghostbuster. The first Ghostbusters was absolutely phenomenal. It's hilarious, right? Super fun, and a lot of fun to watch for me anyway. But as good as the first Ghostbusters was, the second one was just as bad. That singularly may have been Bill Murray's worst performance in his career, in my opinion. He was horrible in that movie. Horrible. He didn't look like he wanted to be there. He was just absolutely improvising everything he threw out there. And really, what's really twisted about that is I'm not the biggest Dan Aykroyd fan, but I have to admit, he Ghostbusters is definitely for him. He fits that role so well, and he's the only thing to save Ghostbusters 2 from being an out, just out and out, just dead on arrival. But even then, he had a struggle. So I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely shocked, I should say, to hear that Frozen Empire had a lackluster reception after Afterlife, which had a great reception. Um, so, but I do believe the Ghostbusters will get a third movie to settle it all out. To settle it. I think we'll get a trilogy out of it. The money's much better now. And box office. Everybody's going to the box office based to see what's going on. Curiosity. And we'll be talking to our guest, film critic Sin from the YouTube channel Sin's Corner. And she will be here in about 10 minutes or so. And we're going to talk all sorts of films. Sin is I know that she wants to be a film critic, but I already have pretty much considered her a film critic. I consider her on the same level as my friend Brian, who's a professional critic, and also my friend Christopher George, who also, in my opinion, is a professional critic. She has the same sort of skills. Um, she can watch a movie. What I really like about Sin is I've seen her now. I've watched her several streams now. Hey, Anthony, how are you? How are you? Good, good. Yes, you are, Anthony. You are a film critic. Yes, you are. Um, What really makes a Sin stand out for me is there's one thing that she does not let go inside her reviews, and that is emotion. I think when you're a film critic, a professional one, not like the majority of us YouTubers who are out there just throwing out our opinions. There are some of us that actually can review a movie and do it professionally. I am not one of those people. uh, I tend to get involved with it. But one thing I really do appreciate with Sin is the fact that she does not let her emotions get into the movie. She can still like a movie for what it is, even if she herself is not exactly vested in it. As far as personally goes, you have to be able to look at a movie and to be able to dissect it without any emotion. Like, this is why it works. This is why it does. This is what I like about it. This is what I don't like about it. Whereas a lot of us, we go around here and the first thing we say is that movie sucked, or that movie's the best thing since sliced bread. Um, you know, like and that's me. You give me an IFC movie, and I'm even before I'm watching it, I'm probably going to be telling you it's the best thing since sliced bread. Um, but that's what I really appreciate with Sin on her channel. It's the fact that she can sit there, watch these movies with a professional's eye, and then share them, and then share her opinion. And more often than not, and it's really surprising because I was looking at her letterbox page, and I was really surprised to see some of the movies she has both on her favorite movies and the ones that she did not like. Um, I tell you what, there is one thing that her and I do have in common. We both like to swim upstream. That's something I noticed. That's one thing I did notice. Um, what I mean by swimming upstream means she likes a lot of movies that a lot of people don't have either never heard of or don't or have never seen or never heard of. A lot of independence and whatnot. Two, the other thing that really sort of surprised me about Sin, about what she just watches, is that she is a huge comic book fanboy. She loves the comic book movies. That's awesome. I think that's so cool. Um, and so we'll be talking about that because I saw some of her movies on her letterbox, and I was like, oh, this is curious. Like I didn't see that coming. Um, so it's going to be an interesting discussion with Sin. Now she does a lot of watch parties as well. She has a couple of guys that she does a lot of streamings with. D Movie Man, she does watch parties with, and then another YouTuber, film tuber, um, deleted scenes. And they will come on there and they will talk about movies on Sunday, and it's really intelligent conversation. It's not fanboy conversation. It's like intelligent. It's insightful. It's non-biased. All those things that I really, really like. So if you like that, you definitely want to go ahead and follow Sin. I put down her Instagram and I'll put down her YouTube page as well here. I had that all down in the description box. So if you want to go to the description box, you can do that and follow Sin on our socials. Hey, Drew, how are you? How are you? Yes, our guest will be here momentarily. That'll be Sin from Sin's Corner. Okay. All right. So it's gonna be very curious to I'm just watching everybody else. Taking a look at everybody else's channel today, and I guess the other thing too, the other big news or people are talking about today is the fact that Scream 7 seems to be back on track. Kevin Williamson is coming back. He's one of the creators. He created Scream, the idea of it. So he's coming back. Um, I guess I just saved the franchise, I guess. Um, he's coming back, and they said that Nev Campbell is coming back. Uh, I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. Um, but I didn't expect Kevin Williamson to come back, and um, I commented on another stream that I sort of felt bad for Kevin Williamson in a sense that even though he created the franchise, think about it. Here it is, 2024, and the first Scream came out what, 97. So here he is, 27 years later, and he's still being attached to Scream. One half of that is like, okay, yes, he did create it. I get that. It's his baby, whatnot. That may be so, but I don't think so. I don't think he looks at it that way. Um, And the other thing is too is like, man, it's a go-to. It's a last gasp. We got to keep as many names to the franchise as we can get. So that's the reason why now they're bringing back Sydney. So now you have Sydney, you have Gail Weathers, and will that mean they'll be dragging? I still don't think that Matthew Lillard is going to do anything. He has signed up for a lot of projects. Plus, he's got his own production company going on. I can't really see him taking the time off to do a mainstream shot. And I'm really sort of surprised that Nev Campbell came back. I'm surprised any of them came back for this movie after what happened after the first seven, with the loss of the two main characters. Um, One threw foot in the ass, and the other one because she had to work on her second season of her series Wednesday, that being Jenna Ortega. So I was a little bit surprised to actually see them agree to come back and do it. Of course, now that starts all the cycles and all the rumors, all that shit again about will Matthew Lillard come back? Um, I if I'm Kevin Williamson and I'm New Line Cinema, I'm trying to figure out how to put this one to bed. I really truly am. I think Seven has they run they just, I mean, and now to keep going on besides this, you just beating a dead horse to the ground. It's just straight money grab. And that's no creativity. There's no creativity. There's no originality. There's nothing left. I think you come back. I personally feel you could just put every single character in a room and have a battle royale. Whoever comes out last wins, and that's the end of the movie. Um, the Ghostface killer is that's the that's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. I'm not really excited about it. Um, I'm happy for the fans of the franchise, but I do feel bad for Williamson that he has to be called out of the bullpen to try to save this. And the only thing I can hope for is that he gets a movie out of this for himself. He can go out there and create something, like James Wan got. James Wan's got an open check to do whatever the hell he wants. You get James Wan and you just open your checkbook, whatever any ideas that he has, you're gonna let him go for it because he delivers every single time. Hopefully, with Kevin Williamson, he will get that shot as well. Come out there and create a project that he wants to do for saving Scream 7. Speaking of saving, let's see. Let's see. So we got calendar. We got our last week here, last week of Women Entertainment Month. We have Sin coming in today in a few minutes. And then we have tomorrow, we have actress Carrie Goodwin will be here with us tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we have actress Greta Volkova will be here with us tomorrow and will be with us on Thursday. And we will be talking. Carrie Goodwin is one of the stars of the Rio Bravo franchise. Plus, she's made many really cool westerns. And of course, Greta is also one of the more steadiest, more accomplished actress that works for the Polonia Pals. And she has starred in a lot of fun movies, Sharkenstein, Bigfoot versus Zombies, and any one of the other fun movies that we can think of with Greta. She is super nice. I've seen her before in the House of Horrors. Hey, what's going on, Dell? That's right. Me, the Cheetah, we are on our way to Dell's channel in May. We got a road trip. We're road tripping. We're doing movie swap with Dell, and I got to figure out a movie to stump Dell on to find a movie that he has not watched that I've enjoyed and that I want him to see. Um, I don't. I'm gonna be. That one's gonna be. That one's gonna. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about what I can throw at Dell there and make him go like, "What? This is the best thing ever." Um, so we're gonna be doing that in May. All right. The doorbell has rang, so is our friend Sin. So let's go get her and let's go talk movies and see how she got her start and becoming a critic. Here we go.
Hello.
Ta-da!
Can you hear me okay?
Haven't I seen you before? Yeah. I feel like I've seen you yesterday and the day before and the day before and
You
the day
might have.
before.
And I remember I saw you during an attempted watch party with Mike,
Um,
but you had to
yeah.
bow out of that one.
Oh, we were going to, well, we did a watch party with Michael Cassie. We did that last Friday. What I'm doing now is I have done a couple of watch parties before with his friends.
I was talking about
Uh,
Mike with Z. Did you see that?
well, gee, yeah, him and I are going to do something later on. Right now, I'm just trying to get him to get an interview. I'm trying to help him land an interview. I'm not sure how that's working out. Uh,
Who's he wanting to interview?
my friend Karen Cleach.
Oh, okay.
She's the actress that was in Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. All right.
She won the
Did,
most. She won the best kill of 2023.
oh, what was her kill?
She got cooked in the oven.
Oh, her. That was a good kill. Yes, that was. That was almost comedic.
It's funny. I'm sitting here and um now it's funny because I ask questions from some of the actors. I always ask them like like talk to us about a death scene that you've done or what have you, and what is it like when your parents see you die on stage, die
Right.
on screen, and sometimes I say what do your parents get more amped about, seeing you die or maybe seeing you of a spicy scene.
Mm-hmm.
And without a
The
doubt,
spicy scene,
overwhelming.
right?
No, it bothers them more to see their kid die on screen.
Oh, wow. Okay, that
Yep,
surprises me.
yep,
Okay. Well, I
yep.
mean, I guess that makes sense.
I mean, they can handle watching their loved one in a romantic clinch. But when it comes down to finding scenes, one of the seeing them die on screen, yeah, that gets them a little
Yeah.
angry. And I got to be honest with you, I didn't even think about that, until I interviewed an actress, and I had one of her movies. I bought it brand new, and I had the movie before I even met her. But I met her, we talked. She's a lovely lady, really super sweet. Really enjoyed talking to her. And all of a sudden, and I find out that she dies in the movie, and I'm going like, I can't bring myself to watch it.
Oh, so when you feel like a personal connection, it's
Right.
hard. But I can imagine for parents, because that's a parent's absolute worst nightmare, is
Yeah.
for something to happen to their child while they're still alive. So I guess I could see that. I thought you were going to say, the reason I thought it was going to be the spicy moment is because most people, myself included, don't mind seeing, blood and guts and horror and all that, but I could do without seeing intimate scenes. There's just something about that I have never really liked that. So I thought that's where that was going to go.
Well,
But
it's weird. It's weird because I heard a very famous adult performer from years ago. Her name was Marilyn Chambers. I'm not sure
oh, I
who you remember.
recognize that name.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Marilyn Chambers actually was in an interview. She said that only in America, only in America, can you show a man kissing a woman's breast and have it rated X, but have the same man put a machete or a knife in the breast and it's rated R.
Yeah, there are some things quite violent. There was that movie Dead Snow,
Yep.
and I honestly don't. That was not. It's not from here. It was what, from Norway. I honestly don't know what that was rated, but I heard that there were some kills that were pretty gnarly. That I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it didn't get an X rating. That involved the cutting off of those parts.
Well, hell, you have that with let's see, that's right, Dell. Oh, I'm making the road trip to Dell on movies. I'm making the road trip over there in May, and
Oh,
we're
okay.
doing movie swap, and so that's where we each bring a movie to the party, and show the other person, and then get their reaction to it. So I'm torn between, like going gonzo, or just, because I have a lot of fun movies I could show. Like, should I go more mainstream? Should I go more cult? Because that's generally what I am. I'm not really a mainstream guy. I'm
Oh,
mostly, and that's
okay.
one thing. That's one thing I commented about before you got here, was one of the things I really respect about really respect about you. And I was looking at your letterbox earlier, and you don't always go for the big, the big movie, what's big out there. A lot of your movies tend to be in a lot of independence.
I just go where the story looks good. And that's not always to be found with the big blockbustery
Oh gosh, no,
movies.
no. I tend to go more by studio. That's
See,
why
you know,
I watch
sorry,
like
my
late night.
dog is
Oh,
interrupting us. Come on, he wanted to get down. Now he wants to
uh-huh.
get back up in my lap. He doesn't know what he wants. Come on, baby. Um, I don't always pay attention to studio, except sometimes if I feel like I've been burnt a little bit by a studio like A24. Um, I held a grudge against them for a while because there were a few movies of theirs that just were not for me. But then on the flip side, there have been some movies that they've come out with that I really enjoyed.
Yes,
So,
you. That's the other thing too. Like you and I, we. It's sort of funny because this happened with Night from Night Watch. This happened the same thing. I was in one of his streams, and out of the blue, he commented on a movie called A Dark Song. And I'm going like,
okay.
wait a minute, you like that movie? You seen that movie? And he goes, oh yeah, Brother for Life, right? Tremendous, tremendous movie. Just absolutely beautiful movie. It's probably the most. It's my favorite movie I've ever reviewed. It means so much to me, and I love that movie. And when I was watching you, and all of a sudden you came out there and you started talking about Remember with
Oh my goodness,
Christopher
that movie.
Plummer and Martin Landau.
Right? Oh
Now,
man.
man, I was like, that is it. I said, that's so cool that someone else has heard about it, because you're the first
No,
person other than myself to ever
yeah,
talk about that movie.
nobody knows about this movie.
And you know what makes me laugh is all these A24 slappies. All the bandwagoners are jumping on A24, and it's like, and you sit there and you look at them going like, man, you're just watching their dead bodies, huh? All right, all right. Uh, but Hereditary,
uh,
like it's like, before that, back when A24 was just getting off the ground, they put out some really strong movies. I mean, strong movies. Remember being one of them.
oh
Uh, uh,
yeah.
oh my gosh.
Love that film, because and the review that I put up on my channel was actually something that I repurposed from another YouTube channel that I had that where I published things under my literary name. And I repurposed it to put up on this channel because this is a movie review channel, pretty almost exclusively. And almost I did a lot of reactions. But that movie really hit home for me because Christopher Plummer, as you know, his character, um, he's suffering from dementia or
Mhm.
Alzheimer's, some form of dementia, and it hit home because my grandfather uh, had that. He suffered with that for a few, like 10 years before it finally
Mhm.
took him, and an uncle of mine who also passed away from that a few years ago. So it was so, like, you watch it and you see him in these situations and he's on this mission, and you see him in these situations like he doesn't know why he has a gun.
No.
Oh my goodness, and he encounters a cop. Oh, and
Oh, that was the first time I ever saw Dean Norris. Wow, what a
was that the cop?
revelation! Yes,
Okay, I didn't remember
yeah.
who played the cop. I
Oh
just
my God.
I was so tense during that moment because anyway, and then the reveal at the end, it
Awesome.
it blew my mind because it was like, Wow, that's crazy because I'm trying to be vague for those who haven't seen it, but it was really strange because it created this complex mix of emotions because you've gone on this
Yeah,
journey with you got this guy and you've grown
yeah,
attached to him, and then the showdown happens at the end and it's like, wow, mind
yeah.
blown.
Such a such a superb movie. I mean, you're
Right?
right. You're getting so emotionally invested with Christopher Plummer. It's
Mhm.
Christopher Plummer. You're thinking Sound of Music. You're
Oh,
thinking
I
all.
love him.
I mean, you just absolutely just go go go. He barely escaped several times, and you're so. And then
Right.
and then and then and then and then you go like,
The
holy.
It's
Then
like,
you're just like,
oh,
yeah. That movie messed me up. Because of the ending. Let me go to the chat real quick and say hello to everybody coming in. Of course, Dell is still here hanging with us. Thank you so much, Dell. Your channel mate, Deleted Scenes, is here.
oh, hey,
Uh,
deleted.
all
He's
right,
gonna
all right.
he's gonna have to dip out to go do another live stream. He is a busy, busy man.
I see that. Both you guys are.
He is way more busy than me. I don't have the time, that he can schedule for all the live streams. Plus, I'm not as into live streams as he is. I like to just be a guest on a live stream, not necessarily have my own.
I could, yeah, I'm both ways. I mean, I don't mind hosting. It is sort of nice being a guest though,
It is. Takes the
because you
pressure
don't
off,
have,
doesn't it?
yes, yes, it does. You could. Our good friend John is here from Doomsday Crypt. He just had an awesome weekend at Day of the Dead over in Chicago. Saw tons of pictures and videos. Looked like he had an absolutely awesome time. Met a ton of people there. Got pictures with everybody.
Oh, nice.
Or I should say, people got pictures taken with him.
Oh,
So,
yes, of
yeah,
course.
it's no longer, hey, can I take a picture with you? Thanks, Jude Courtney. Now it's Jude Courtney going, hey, John, can I get a
Take a
picture with
picture
you?
with me. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
John is moving up big. Uh, Hi, Mr. Dan and Orr, welcome in. Dean Norris was in Total Recall, but he was covered
Oh,
in makeup,
okay.
so I never knew that was him.
Oh,
Michael Cassie, who we just did who we did a watch party with last Friday, was telling us about a Dean Norris story that he did, where he did like 40 pages of dialogue, and he had to ask for his line once, and he went around apologizing for it, and
oh.
everybody's like, "Oh, what? You're crazy, man! That's just an amazing feat." Um,
Yeah.
so we're talking early A24 films right now. There's another one who I suggested to you. I think it might be on Tubi. It's called
Okay.
Cut Bank. It's called Cut Bank,
Cut
and
bank.
yes, with
Okay.
that has Teresa Palmer in it, John Malkovich.
Oh,
I think it's Hemsworth. One of the
I
help,
don't
maybe
think
Luke
I've ever
Hemsworth.
heard of this movie before.
Yeah, early A24.
Okay.
And there's a gentleman in there, and I think his name is Michael Stollenberg. Stollenberg absolutely steals that movie. Riveting character, just
All right.
absolutely. Yep.
Put it on my
What?
letterboxd.
Yes. Dark Places was another A24 film that I watched with Charlize Theron. That was really really good.
I think I've seen that one. Isn't
That was
that the one
really,
where she's a like a was she a detective or a
yeah,
troubled
Trouble.
yeah, she was like her past. I think I
Yeah.
saw that a lot, like something I just put on in passing and I have a vague memory of it, but I don't remember the plot or anything like that.
Yeah, it was a very good movie. You're right. She was investigating a something from her past, and it
Okay.
pointed to her future. It's funny because it was sort of funny is like I'm always teasing everybody about the A24 stuff. No, I seriously can't stand Hereditary. That's no joke. That
I don't
movie.
like Hereditary
um,
either, and you know what else I can't stand? The other movie he directed. I don't
Miss
like
Lamar.
Midsommar. I cannot stand that movie.
Yeah, I
And
think it's
it's
overrated.
I agreed. And
I,
I just so I didn't like the only character that I halfway liked was the boyfriend. I didn't like Florence Pugh's character at all. She got super annoying super quick to me. And in the end, when this thing happens in the end, and you're supposed to, like, a lot of people are like, yes, go girl. And I was like, why is she being, the guy, she gets mad because she finds him in this situation, but to be fair, he'd been drugged. He had no idea. He, like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't something that was, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I would have been
Uh,
out of there like days before. I wouldn't have even gone.
Hi, Lady Valerie. How are you? How are you? Coming in. Thank you so much. Hanging in with us. Now, let me ask you a question here because see, this is the difference between me being a ham and egger reviewer versus someone like yourself. I have a couple of friends who are professionals, and I look at you as a professional too.
I'm
Um,
not.
Mostly because there's one thing I really notice is that when you talk about a movie, I could be wrong here, but I don't ever one thing I really appreciate you and respect about you, Sin, about how you review your movies, is that you really don't show a lot of emotion. Like a lot of people here, they wear their opinions right here on their arm. You know, like me. Oh, that movie's awesome. That movie sucks. I mean, but it's not really. It's like a snap judgment. Whereas you can sit there and take a movie, look at some of the parts, then come back and say, "This is why the movie works for me. This is why it doesn't work for me." And the thing is, though, you don't necessarily have to like the movie in order to sit there and give it a good review. And to me, that's the sign of professionalism.
Oh,
That's a professional critic.
I appreciate that. I was just told by a critic review group that I applied to. I'm part of the Georgia Critics Association, and I applied to another association, and I was denied for this year. They said I can try again next year, and so I asked, well, like, was there something about my style that was a turnoff? And because if so, I mean, I'm not going to change the way I review. I would just like to know so that I don't waste your time trying to reapply. And they were like, no, it was just, we were looking at the different applicants and we chose people that went more, what was it? Gave, basically, they were saying the opposite of what you said about me. That
Yeah.
they gave more in-depth analysis. So I just thought that was kind
What?
of funny. I
Well,
appreciate those kind words.
okay. Well, here's a message to those folks. There is a thing is going too far. I call it the Rolling Stone syndrome, right?
Mm,
And this is what a lot of Rolling Stone. I mean, try go back and watch some Rolling Stone, recent Rolling Stone. What they do is they'll get a new star coming out, just barely getting off, maybe getting their first record out, maybe the first record's out, they got a couple of singles. They will put that person on the cover and they will invest 10,000 words in that person and try to convince you that they're the next Beatles.
uh-huh.
And 6 months from now, after that comes out, nobody's ever heard of them. A year from now, you can get their album in the 50 cents off bin,
Yeah.
50 cent bin. That's they go so overboard with their praise of someone who doesn't have a track record, and
Yeah.
I think that causes that there's that. I think you have to give movie watching and reviewing, put it in perspective. I don't mind reading a 500, 600 word review, but if you can sit there and make me read like 4 or 5 pages about one movie, I don't care what movie it is, you're spending too much time.
Yeah.
You
No, I
know?
can't. I don't can't do the essay writing. That's, I just prefer to talk. And so um I try to analyze a movie as fairly as I can. And I try to point out pros and cons. And you talked about how I don't show, like, or I don't wear my emotion on my sleeve. I feel like I kind of do. If a movie pisses me off, I tell you very clearly. Like
Um,
Ghostbusters. Oh my goodness. I was
oh,
not happy with Ghostbusters.
yeah, I was talking about that. I was talking about that. Let's see. I gotta go inside here to my friend Suzanne is watching us on Facebook.
Hi, Suzanne.
We asked about which scene was caused the more stress, and she also went with the sex scene. She said the sex scene would cause more people to would would cause more parents to to be like turn their head more than their
Squeamish.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 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 no. That's why even though I love Karen and to me, she'll always be Lexa from Mutant X. That's just a badass series. But still, I have to gear myself up to watch her at Thanksgiving.
Mm.
I was gonna actually rent it out today, and then I thought about it. I'm like, I'm not sure. Maybe another week or so. Maybe I'll come back and just
So you haven't
and there's
even seen it yet.
I no,
Okay.
I really don't know if I want to see my. I just
Ah,
I don't know what that is. I just don't know if I want to see her die on screen. It's just like I know it's just a movie, but still, you're sitting there looking at somebody, and you have that emotion for it. It's like that just sucks.
it's
Um,
interesting you say that because there was one of my subscribers wrote me last year and was starting her own channel. Had nothing to do with movies, but she wanted to talk with me and get some advice about, like setup and recording and all that. So I chatted with her for about 4 hours when I first met her, and she was telling me that her roommate or her off and on roommate is oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, I can't think of her name. Octavia Spencer is her off and on roommate. And I asked her if she'd seen this particular series that Octavia had been in called Truth Be Told. And she immediately told me, no, 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 I can't watch anything she's in because that's just Octavia. I just can't. So it reminds me of that when you said that. Like, I guess it'd be difficult to watch people that you know.
okay, so she knew who Octavia was.
She was roommates with her. They're
Oh, okay,
friends. Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
So
that would be really hard to sit there and watch somebody, you're right. Watch someone have to play a
trying to be
difficult part.
another person, you know
Right,
and
right.
and you're just watching them going, well, it's just my friend, it's just Octavia. you know so
Now I
it
have to admit, I admit I still can watch Karen work and Mutant X and fanboy out.
mhm.
I can't. I mean, she's just a badass. I think the thing about it is though, it's like I watched all her. I've been a fan of hers for years, and I watched all her TV series too. And I got every one but one. I got all her series. Actually, no, I take it back. I got all her TV series but two. I got two, and both of those would be hard to find because they're out of print.
Mm.
But I got all her series that she's been in, but the two. But it's just a little bit different, It's just a little bit different. Or a favorite actor. It doesn't mean someone you have to know or talk to. There's favorite people that you watch act, and you respond to them. To the crisis that they're in, whether it be a dramatic one or a suspense one or a horror one.
Yeah.
You can react to it. Um, I some to me, I think those are some of the best performers. When that cause you to have some sort of
An
emotional
emotional
reaction.
response, yes.
Now, has that happened to you as a critic? Have you watched the movie and found yourself like, holy shit, this is like when like with Remember.
Oh my goodness, yes, I know that a movie has done a really good job when I feel emotionally invested in like I feel actual pain and sadness when something happens. There are also movies, so I love horror. That's one of my favorite genres ever, and I've watched so much horror and so many people being killed and so much blood and body parts. But I'll tell you what, one of the most disturbing scenes to me didn't even come out of a horror movie, and it was for the film Blood Tomahawk. Have you seen that?
Right. Yes.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about then. You know exactly what I'm
Kurt, Kurt,
talking about.
Kurt Russell.
Yes. So you know the scene I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I felt physically ill watching that scene. And I don't ever
Mhm.
feel physically ill. Like I'll get squeamish, if it shows someone's eyeball, oh, that's ugh. But this was like so disturbing to me. It made me feel sick to my stomach,
That's a
which is
fantastic
great.
question too. Um, I felt bad for Matthew Fox, his character. The one guy who the gunslinger, and the one, the two shot, and then within the first 30 seconds he gets winged.
I
It's like
totally
it's like, really, he came all this way and he's not gonna even get a chance. That's when you knew things were going to go bad. You know That's when
Yeah,
you know
it
things are gonna go bad in that movie is when he gets killed right off the right when they first clash. That's that you're like, oh, okay, this is over.
this is not what I expected. It is a really it's a good movie though. See, that's the thing. It's
Yeah,
a good movie, but I really don't ever want to see it again. And I did happen to see it again last year when my brother was in town and he was watching it. And when that scene came on, my folks were in the room and I was warning them, okay, this it's coming up. It's going to be really bad. It's going to be really bad. And I was like not looking. I did not want to see it, but I would like glance up to see how close they were to the moment, and I saw like bits and pieces of it. It just the sound was disturbing. Oh my goodness, you guys, if you watch
yeah.
Boone Tomahawk, it's worth the watch, but please be prepared. There is a scene in there that's probably the absolute most horrific I've ever seen in a movie. And I've seen a lot of bad stuff.
Now, when did you what was it like for you when you were growing up, Sin? I mean, when did you realize that you wanted to talk about movies or write about movies? Did that come early on? Like I know some kids who got their start writing reviews in the school paper.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, that
was that
that
was
wasn't
that you?
No, so for me, I think what it comes down to is I grew up, and I've mentioned this multiple times on my channel, I grew up without a TV.
Oh
So I
wow,
had none of that sort of entertainment. So anything that I was exposed to, so I would be exposed to things, like on my family's television, like let's say my grandma or my cousins or a friend's house. But because I was not exposed to that from birth on, it really profoundly affected me when I was exposed to things. And so, because I had no TV, I didn't have that form of entertainment. I loved to read and I read all the time. And I loved stories so much. So, movies obviously are a form of storytelling. And because I love to talk about stories, I started the YouTube channel so that I could initially do reactions to trailers, but also just kind of slid into movie reviews from that. But no, I had no plans of being like a movie reviewer. My initial dream was I was going to be a writer.
right.
And I have actually written a novel. I just haven't published it because I got burnt out. My brother has published 3 novels since then, and I've helped him edit those. And but yeah, no, I did not become a writer. I worked in a law firm for a bit. Then I worked for my dad, and then my husband and I had a window cleaning business. So I helped him with that, and then I got approached by the narrator who did my brother's second book. We became friends on Facebook. I was also an audiobook narrator, and after he did my brother's book, I helped him work on the audio for that, like correcting mispronunciations and things like that.
Sure.
And he approached me and asked if I wanted to be an audiobook proofer. So I was like,
Wow.
heck yes. So
That's gonna be a little bit more. I wonder is it the same as doing a written editor? I mean, are you it's the same?
no, I have done multiple written editing, like manuscript editing in the course of working on, on audiobooks with Jeff. But no, it's not the same. Now I'm still audiobook proofing. That's my day job. But I'm also director of operations with this company that has now grown from just the two of us in the very beginning. It's called Sound Booth Theater. We produce audiobooks. And so audiobook proofing, when I do that, I'm actually in the middle of a project right now. I listen to the audio, I go by the manuscript, and I correct timing issues, like if there's too much time in between sentences or words, or if there's too little time, I fix that. If pronunciation is off, I make notes and correct that. If misreads, if there's been a word that they, like they read the sentence wrong, I correct that. And give performance advice, like if it says that a character shouts something, for instance, and he doesn't shout it, I will mark that and say it
Right.
says he's shouting this. So yeah, it's just kind of it's a whole bunch of stuff. But I love it because I love books and stories.
Right. I was gonna say, what's funny is like as audiobooks go. I don't mind audiobooks myself, but what I really like more for them to do is not just have just the one reader. It feels
That's
really, really
yes.
weird listening to a man, talk, being a woman's,
Okay.
point of view, and a woman in a man's point of view. It's
Right.
really weird.
Right, and not many narrators can pull that off. Some can, it's extremely small, like the guy that I work with, Jeff Hayes, he can. Because when I listened to an audiobook of his, um, I thought he was multicast. I thought he had a middle-aged white guy, a middle-aged black guy, and a white woman in the cast, and it was all him. I
Mm.
legit thought there were multiple people. And I was really confused as to why there was only one person being credited. So, but he's an exception. But in the books that we do, he is truly an exception. And there's only one female narrator that I've heard that can actually convincingly do a male voice, and that's Barbara Rosenblatt. There's not many that can do that. But in our books, we do multicast. We have in pretty much all of our productions, probably 99% of them, at least one man, one woman doing the roles. Sometimes multiple men and women.
Let me come to the chat real quick. We're talking about the cast of Mutant X. We both love them. Victoria Pratt plays Shalimar. Yeah, we love Victoria Pratt. Love Karen. Let's see. Love Lauren Lee Smith. Got to say her too. Hi, Indie Escape. I'm not sure which one is this one. Indie Escape Network is a multiple grouping. They have a group of talent. Like there's like 9 or 10 of them, and they come out and they do their podcast on their YouTube channel with various pieces, various cast members. And I go over there and I listen to them. I was listening to them last night, and really good show. Real good show. Nice people. Really nice people. Moon over Miami, welcome. And he says hello to you, Sin. So that's awesome.
Hello.
Let me go ahead and grab. You guys can go down in the description box and please visit and sub to Sin's channel. Yeah, speaking of that, your channel is massive.
Oh,
How when did you
not really.
start your YouTube journey, and how did you get your channel to be like crazy big?
I don't consider it crazy big. I still feel like I'm small fry compared to, a lot of other people. But so what happened was in 2019, I'm, in the audiobook business, and I do love stories, but there are some genres that are not my favorite, okay? And one of those genres happens to be the one that our company specializes in. It's lit RPG.
It's what?
And it's called lit RPG. Think of the movie or the book, the story Ready Player One,
Okay.
stuff like that, where a lot of the story takes place in a game. Well, it's very
Okay.
rare that I can actually get on board with that because most of the time there's no actual conflict happening except conflict in the game, and that doesn't transfer over to real life conflict for me, so I don't care, you know? So so I was like, I want to talk about stories that I like. So I was inspired by Grace Randolph because she had this channel and she's doing movie reviews and she's doing trailer reactions. So I started doing trailer reactions. I would take breaks from work and I would just do trailer reactions. And then 2020 comes around and the world ends and I'm in a really dark place. And so then I started doing comedy reactions. And that was one of the first things that blew my channel up, like got me to the point where I could be monetized and whatever. And because I wanted to laugh, it was really dark time for a lot of people. And then I ended up just kind of gravitating more towards doing movie reviews. I was always doing movie reviews, but it wasn't a constant, and now it's a constant because this is what I want to do. And some things that have blown my channel up even more was my review for Sound of Freedom, my review for Godzilla Minus One, my review for Society of the Snow. Those got really big, brought in really big numbers.
That's interesting too. The Sound of Freedom. I know the politics are not popular and everything else, but I got to be honest with you. Someone commented about this too. This happened. This already happened once before for me too. For the when the pandemic hit, but I gotta tell you, if you're gonna, I did feel really bad for Jim Caviezel, even though I know, like I said, his personal stuff behind, but as far as an actor goes, Jim Caviezel's one of the best. He really
He
is.
was so good in that movie too. That was one of his best performances I've ever seen.
And he's been just, I can't, everything I've ever seen him act in, and I was such a, oh man, I was such a huge Person of Interest fan. Man, I wasn't missing that for nothing.
Yeah,
And
but I didn't see that whole show, but I heard it was really good.
it's really good.
Hmm.
And so, I saw that when, Sound of Freedom came out, and it just crushed. It really helped save the summer, last year.
Yes, it was almost like the Maverick of 2023, the Top Gun
It,
Maverick of
yes.
2023.
And
Yeah.
yet, yet that movie got not a whisper about nominations about any level anywhere.
And are you really surprised? I knew they weren't. I knew they weren't going to get anything.
And all
Hollywood
that,
acted like it didn't even exist.
yeah. And the
It was
thing that all
crazy.
that did was just reinforce. I mean, I gave up on award show. I mean, altogether. I
Yeah.
mean, I gave up. For me was when in 2020 is when Haley Bennett didn't get nominated for Swallow.
I
That
did
was
not
it for
see
me.
that, so
I just, after that, I said the award shows are, that's just, Frances McDormand went for Nomadland. And I was just like,
okay.
really? That's
Okay.
the best. Really? You're not
You
gonna give
know,
her. So
there's a lot of political stuff. When I say political stuff, I don't necessarily mean but there's politics in every sort of group, organization, and
King
there's a
Roland.
lot of that goes on. And there also definitely appears to be a lot of bandwagony stuff that happens. The year that Everything Everywhere All at Once came out, I feel like that was a definite bandwagon
Oh God, yes.
awards thing because I did enjoy that movie, but I felt like it was quite overrated, and I did not feel like it needed to sweep pretty much everything it was nominated for. And it was like, are you
Yeah,
kidding? Really? And it's like,
yeah,
okay, they gave it to Jamie Lee. She was great in there, but it really feels like they gave it to her because, oh, we've never given her anything, so let's give her something. You know what I
that's
mean? It's
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really feel like it's based on actual merit. It feels like it's based more on these little connections. And yes, the movie studios, they they definitely do try to buy your win,
Mhm. Yes.
not just with money. And I've had a little tiny taste of this as an accredited movie reviewer. My name's on a list. The stuff they were sending me during award season, all these gifts and perks and all these cool things
Hmm.
that they sent me, it was like, okay, yeah, you can't tell me they don't try to buy these votes. Send it like who can give you the biggest swag? The stuff for Maestro? I got this big, huge, heavy picture book. I swear to goodness, that thing probably weighs 10 to 15 pounds. And just massive. And then a double LP of the soundtrack and I'm looking at some merch here for Naiad and something over here for May December, and it was just like, my
Yeah.
goodness, they're spending so much money sending all this stuff out to people.
Yeah, it really was discouraging, as a movie fan, and you hear all these awards come out, and you really want to sit there and say, well, who's going to win? And then when you know that it's like,
You
it
kind of
doesn't really
know.
matter what you think. It's just all about who has the bigger bank. And that
Yeah.
generally is how it works. It's like, and after that, it's just like, so after that, it really, award season does, before, I was a movie fan, growing up. Yeah, it was always exciting. But now that you know what's behind the green door,
Oh yeah.
it ain't. It ain't,
Yeah.
and it's really depressing, actually, in a sense.
I don't watch them anymore. I mean, I do notice when certain films win. I'm happy when a film that I personally enjoyed gets noticed and gets, recognized, but I'm quite cynical about award shows.
Um, so you said earlier that you grew up without a TV.
I
So
did.
how old were you when you discovered TV, or did you discover movies, first at the theater?
So what happened is, my parents, when they decided they were interested to go see a movie, they didn't necessarily have a babysitter, so they would take me, and I was exposed to things at far too young of an age. They took me to see Lipstick. That was
Oh
a
my,
movie from yeah,
from
and
the
they took me to
70s.
yes, and they took me to see some other stuff. And then one day my dad and I were at the place where my mom worked. She was a caretaker for an older lady, and Halloween came on, and I was scarred for life. I was like 8 years old or something when it came on TV or something like that, and I it scarred me so much. But I've always been aware of movies. I've always been aware of TV. We didn't have a TV in my house until I was grown, married, had 2 kids. Then we brought a TV in the house.
Wow. Now, was it religious?
Yes. Initially,
Okay.
yes, it was. And my
Okay.
parents now have a TV. So they kind of, they phased out of that idea about TV, but it definitely was religious generally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I think it's really cool though that you were exposed to the movies, and then do you feel like do you feel like when you first started watching them, and all of a sudden you're looking around, you're looking at all these different movies, did you feel like you're in a catch up mode? And if so, how long did that last? How long were you like, I got to see
Well,
everything?
so even though we didn't have a TV at one point when I was about 12 or 13, my dad did get like a closed circuit monitor and a VCR. So we would rent things from the video store. And
Okay.
yes, we would rent stuff all because it was like oh, and we used to rent things from the library too with on a projector, with a projector and the movie reels.
Right.
And that was
Right.
when I first saw The Black Stallion, when I first saw The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and The Secret of Nim. And I would get so obsessed with some of these movies. I would watch them and then I would watch them backwards. I would flip the thing in reverse and
All
watch the
right.
movie backwards.
Oh, okay. I'm, I'm sure you saw a lot of interesting things.
It was
While
quite
you were,
interesting. It was
uh,
like I was so obsessed with it. I wanted to just consume as much about it. I also used to make audio recordings of movies that I really, really like The Terminator and I think Conan the Destroyer. And I would make audio recordings and I would listen to those sometimes when I'd be working at work. Listen to
oh
The
wow.
Terminator.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I do that. I play white noise, and I will put on old radio show, and I'll listen to that old radio show while I try to fall asleep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
I
I
get that.
like having this like when I'm working during the day at like audiobooks and other stuff that I'm doing for the company, I always have something playing. The TV is I mean it's not on now, but it's almost always on because it's like company for me.
Right. No, it does help settle down. As far as writing goes. Um,
Mm,
uh, what movies? I mean, obviously, you said horror is one of your favorite genres,
yeah.
but what is your favorite genre? Is it horror?
So I say horror is one of my favorite genres, but in my top 10 favorite movies, there's only really one horror. That's Halloween and Halloween 2018, very closely attached to each other. I probably tend to go more for, okay, well, my favorites are action, thriller, suspense, mystery, horror, things like that. Action, adventure. My favorite movie of all time is Terminator 2.
Oh, okay, okay. That's a good one to have.
My favorite, like, look back here. I even made a sound. See him? See him
Uh,
back there
yep, yep.
behind me?
I'll be back.
There's Terminator 2, and then there's the Terminator.
Now, have you? Because I noticed that as a critic, now you must have been invited to interview some people that have been in movies, have made movies. Who are some of the people that you've had the opportunity to talk to?
Okay, so I have only recently been given the opportunity to potentially interview an actor for the first time. And I think it's because I'm now on like the list, like the press list or the media list. And I wasn't able to get the interview because I was in the middle of traveling. So I couldn't anyway. The time ran out. But I did contact the representative. And said, I was traveling. I couldn't do it. But if an opening happens to come along, I would like to interview either him or the director, and it's actually David Desmalchin of Late Night with the Devil. I would actually really enjoy being able to interview him. So she wrote me back and she said, you know what? If an opening happens, if depending on his schedule, his filming, we'll contact you if we can make it happen. So I
Uh,
haven't thus far spoken to an actual, you know, actor.
uh, here's one tip for you too. Um, if you do get an opportunity, they say, hey, you want to. always insist on more time. Say, you know,
Okay.
if they say you get them for 25 minutes, say 35. Can I get them for 35? And then,
Okay.
yep, and then what you do is you research him, find out something really fun and obscure about him, and then when you get him, hit him with that.
Hit him
That
with
always,
that, yeah.
yeah, that always be another 10 minutes right there
Yeah,
because
well, I
you won't be asking him about what's your inspiration for playing Jack. You know,
well, I watched an interview that he did with my buddies at Film Threat, and, they had him on for, like, 35, 40 minutes, and he is a total geek. He has the background where he was, like, the room where he was doing the interview, which I assume is his home, a room in his home, and he's got a setup like what a lot of YouTubers have, YouTube movie critics and movie lovers have. Comic books over here, comic books over here, and different merch and all this stuff behind him from different things. It was cool. So,
probably got that 10, 15 pound maestro book there too.
you mean him or me? I
Yeah, yeah.
actually I don't know where the Maestro book might be behind me. I'm not sure where I put it actually. It's super heavy.
Oh my gosh, that is
It's
crazy. Uh, so Halloween. So basically, like I saw because I'm really surprised when because I watched you now. I watched you on your channel, and it does seem horror does seem to be the main focus, which is really surprising when I went over to your letterbox and I saw that you are really a fanboy too. You are big into comics, which
I
was really fun.
I do. I used to read comics when I was a kid because I had no TV.
Right,
That
right.
was my TV, you know? I used to make a schedule at night. I was going to wake myself up in the middle of the night so I could read X-Men and then I could read Justice League, could read Spider-Man and Batman. But I don't read them anymore, but I do like comic book movies because a lot of these are characters that I read when I was a kid.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's more expensive, going to the movies or going to the comic book store.
Well, going to the movies because the price of one for the price of one ticket, you could probably buy 2 or 3 comic books.
Damn. Yeah, I heard tickets at night are $15 now.
It depends where you are. If you're in California, like my brother, it's like 18 and 19 bucks for a ticket.
That's just absolutely nuts.
It's crazy. So
That-
this makes me really happy that I have the Regal Unlimited membership. So for 19 bucks, I have basically unlimited regular movies that I can
Now,
buy.
is that because you now work for a? Do you work for a syndicate? Are those things still around? Newspaper syndicates?
No,
Uh,
I'm totally independent. No, it's just me, just my channel.
okay,
And that's it. But I got the membership because I go see movies more than I ever have before, specifically because I want to talk about them for my channel. So it made financial sense to go ahead and splurge for a membership because one month price pays is pretty much 2 tickets. If you've got or 1.5 tickets and you've got your membership paid for. And I go sometimes 2 or 3 times a week.
right, right. What do you like covering better? Do you like covering just the new stuff? Are you more excited for what's coming down the road? Or what's your feeling about some of the like because there's a lot of tubers and a lot of them thrive on what's coming brand new. Everything as soon as it comes out, everybody's rushing over to see it. Um, or do you like to have a nice mix of both retro movies that like that you've seen from the past, like something like a Remember, like you come out there and you'll write about that movie, and put it out there to see, and because nobody else really does. Or is it just strictly just like what's coming new at the theater now? What excites you more as a critic, to go back and show off a gem that maybe been covered up, because a lot of these movies now from the 70s, 60s, I'm not talking about just the horror movies, just the well-known movies, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about in general. A lot of these movies, it's and you sense that just by writing about them because they never get into the algorithm. Like you could write about a movie from 1955, put it up there, and it'll be dead in the water.
Yeah,
But you're right.
because it seems like the algorithm is more focused on things that are new, something that's current. Some things that can be pretty popular for some YouTubers is to do, like retro movie reviews. Some people, that's the focus of their channel. I probably focus more on the more current stuff just because that's kind of what I'm in, but I do like to go back and talk about older films. Like I'll have sometimes a poll up on my community page, pick my next movie for me because there's only 100,000 movies on my list, Hey, pick my
Right.
next one. And so some people, and I'll try to put a mix of different ones up there. And there's several that did not win in the polls that I'm actually really interested to check out. One of those is the Iger Sanction, which I've heard is really good.
That's
I've never
great.
seen that.
The book is really better. A
Oh,
gentleman
it's
named
based on a
Trevanian.
book.
Yeah,
Okay.
a gentleman named Trevanian wrote it.
Okay.
That guy, his book, his book was so, it was so, it was really, how can I say this? He wrote scenes that were so, they were sexual, but they were so incredibly dangerous as well. They had to go in there and he had to put a disclaimer in saying that, this is just part of the book. Don't do any of this because,
Oh,
yeah,
do not try this at
yeah.
home.
Do not introduce a straight razor with during your playtime,
Oh
which
gosh.
is what he did. Yeah, yeah. But
That's funny.
he's an excellent writer though. I read him a lot when I was younger. I read like five. I think he wrote like 5 or 6 really good books, and I
Oh,
read them
cool.
all.
I
Yeah,
did I
good
did not
writer.
know that. See, then that makes me when I like let's say sometimes I watch a movie and find out it was based on a book, then I'm interested to read or listen to the book. So, I might do that too if I end up watching
Now,
the Iger Sanction.
okay. Well, let me ask you this because I'm doing this challenge this time. Um, Steven says, mentions that, so you have never met a celebrity before. He can fix that. Yeah, he's actually a press agent. He actually has,
Oh.
yeah, he represents
Oh,
a lot
interesting.
of women actresses. Yes, very much so. As a
I
matter of fact, I'll be having one on next week that he helped me get.
Oh, cool. I've met different celebrities. I've just not, like at cons. That's where I've met celebrities. I've not interviewed one before.
Oh, you'll
Um,
get there. That's gonna happen.
Eventually. Yeah.
That'll happen really soon. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I feel like I'd be very self-conscious though. So there's
Oh
a
God.
part of me that kind of wants to shy away from it. Like I really enjoy. I don't want to sound too much like a fangirl, even though a lot of times maybe that is what I am because I'm watching their product and I'm loving whatever it is, and then I don't want to come across as I don't know, annoying.
I think I might have come across as a fanboy for a couple of minutes, a couple of times, but in over 500 interviews, I think I'm allowed to have a couple of fanboy moments.
Fanboy
I think
moments.
I think
there's
everybody is.
there's probably one person that I would potentially totally lose my mind if I ever was introduced to them face to face or whatever. That would be Arnold Schwarzenegger because he's had such an impact on my life.
Sure.
I felt like for decades that he's just like he's been like so important to me. Did a whole video about it, and so yeah, he's probably one of the ones I would just be so tongue tied I wouldn't know what to say.
Let me ask you this, because because you watch their films and you write about them. Um,
I don't really write. I don't write reviews.
uh,
I just
okay,
talk about them.
okay. When you do your channel, have you noticed that what are some of the things that you notice about some of your favorite actors? Like for me, I'm watching Arnold Schwarzenegger, watching Jackie Chan, you're watching Sylvester Stallone, Dolph Lundgren. Wow, and you find
I
them
like Dolph.
as they get older, they're getting better as actors.
This is true.
They get
Ha-
better.
have you seen Maggie?
Yes, loved it.
He was
Loved Maggie.
really good in that movie. And Arnold's not known for his acting prowess, whatever. He's fun to watch. He's probably my favorite actor ever, but Maggie really demonstrated that he could play a dramatic role quite well. And
Yes.
yes, I've noticed this because their talent, because they have had a time to refine their talent. So it makes sense that they would get better as they get older, especially if they started out more in the beefcakey roles, like,
Yeah.
like Sylvester Stallone or Dolph or Arnold.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because you go back there and you see them. You go back to their early roles, right? You watch,
Oh yeah.
try to watch Cobra today. Try to
Oh,
watch that, and make it through all the way through without going like, "What the hell am I? What am I
I
watching?" You
it's been a
know?
long time since I've seen Cobra.
Yeah, but you watch it. You watch that movie now, and you're going like, you
Oof.
shake your head. You don't know what's more embarrassing: the fact that he made that movie, or two, that you watched it and were going all gung ho for it, and then you watch it
Right.
today versus something like he's done, like he's doing that. He's doing Tulsa King.
I've heard
Man,
that that's good.
Tulsa King is fire. He is so good in that.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just sitting there going like, that's the Mr. Why doesn't he get, a Dolph Lundgren? Dolph Lundgren did a throwaway movie. He did a throwaway movie called "In the Name of the King" Dungeon by Yui Bowl. It was,
I've heard of this.
what I
Yeah.
mean by throwaway. What I mean by throwaway is that no one paid any attention to it.
Mhm.
But that's wrong, because you go back there and you watch that movie and watch him. He's really good at it. I
Oh
mean, real
wow.
good. And it's just like, I just wonder, do you look for things like that when you critique movies? What are some of the things that you do look for in a movie before you do your
Before I
criticism?
do my reviews, so what I do is I don't have a scripted review. I attempted that and it does not come natural to me. So what I do is I open up a little note app and I just start writing down things that come to me, just whatever. And there's no rule. It's just whatever strikes me in that moment, I will write a note down. And then as the movie's going on and I'm writing things down, I start to then develop a pro and a con list. And that's just what I do. So then when I sit down and do my review, I refer to the notes as I'm doing my review, and sometimes I can get pretty heated about a movie if it really annoys me. I got very ranty about John Wick 4. And what I look for in movies is the how good is the acting? Like, is the acting convincing? Is the writing solid? Do the
Mhm.
characters do things that make sense? If the characters do stupid stuff just because the writers needed for a character to do something here be so that something over here could end up, but what they made that character do made no logical sense, that gets on my nerves. I look at pacing issues, editing issues, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've been hearing that. I've been actually seeing people seem to be talking more about John Wick 4 when it first came out. Now it seems like they're talking about it all over again because of the Crow movie. And
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
I'm watching. And I've covered the John Wick movies. Um, the first one by far, without a doubt,
That was a
and
good movie.
it was the best of the series by far.
Absolutely. I agree
It
completely.
doesn't come close to anybody else. It doesn't come close. The only thing I really liked about John Wick 4, the only good thing I liked about it was the fact they put Scott Adkins in a fat suit, and they made and he got to act. He got
Okay.
to act, which is really rare for him. He doesn't really get
Okay.
the, especially in a major studio project. He really doesn't get a chance to do that.
Mm.
He does all those straight to video Lionsgate movies, and while they're fun to watch, it sucks because he's a better actor than people give him credit
Then,
for, but he never
yeah.
gets a chance. So he dressed up in a fat suit and did John Wick 4, and he was phenomenal. I dare say if anybody didn't know that he had did that role, they would not have recognized him as being, being that playing that character.
As that character, yeah. So
Um,
you weren't crazy about John Wick 4, I take it.
no,
Yeah.
no. I mean, the cast,
People
it's stunt casting, and it's just like, I mean, Cantor spoke what I think they said like 400 words, and it's just like that's not who the character really was. The character really was in the first movie, like he was, and no,
I okay, so what made me yes, okay, yes. The stunt choreography was quite interesting. The cinematography, like I could recognize these things about it, but there are only so many times a person can fall off a building and be fine that I can tolerate.
yes,
And And
Yes.
I remember the day I went to go. I had been on Did You See That's channel, a live stream, and John Wick was coming out, and I had decided after John Wick 3 that I wasn't going to go see John Wick 4. But the people on the live stream, they were like, "Oh, it's better than 3, and there's not as much nonstop action because I get tired of nonstop action. It bores me after a while."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, it's good, it's, you know." So I go to see this on the spur of the moment. And my son was working at a theater at that time. So I picked him up after and drove home. And the whole time I'm driving home, after having just seen that movie, I am ranting and I'm like, they should have called this movie Daredevil versus Superman, because that's what this was. I was so angry because it was just like, and in my review, I just go all out. Some people got quite upset with me that I wasn't as in love with this movie as they were, you know.
Really?
Yes, they got angry with me.
That means I guess that means that someone actually gets upset at you enough to write to you, or this is my response video. I guess that means you've done your job though, right, Sin? I mean,
Maybe, I don't know. They tell me, "Oh, I guess you only just like MCU films." It's like, how to tell me you've never watched my channel without telling me you've never watched my channel for you to say something like that.
no, I always thought I was really, like I said, I was really surprised because every time I've come over, it's always been pretty much horror movies, which is fine. That's fine. Because most of the people that I commu go around YouTube, they're mostly horror channels. So I get that. But when I went over and I looked at your letterbox and I saw all the MCU movies, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had no idea.
Yep.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
And I thought,
in my top, my number 2 movie is Wonder Woman. My number 3 movie is, I think, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
yeah,
So
I
I
love
love
I love the first Wonder Woman. I hated the second one.
I I I didn't hate the second one, but it wasn't as good as the first one.
The,
The
sto-
first
the
one was
story, the,
just
the
oof.
story was just. I mean, I like Gail Gadot, and it wasn't her fault, but that story was just like that was pretty offensive, quite honestly. It's like, man,
Really? Was it
yeah,
offensive?
yeah. I mean, she's raping the guy. She's
Yeah,
taking,
that's definitely what people were pointing out, and that's generally when I watch movies where body swaps happen or soul swaps or whatever, because that's kind of a theme in some films. I never even think about it from that aspect. So,
I
yeah, I
think I
can,
think I think of when you play it for laughs, or and if it's the same sex, like trading places or not or swapping places with Jamie Lee Curtis and
that was
who,
Freaky Friday.
Freaky
Was that
Friday,
Freaky
or you're
Friday?
right, where they have
Yeah.
that. It's let's see, Show Kasugi, Show Ninja 1 and 2, baby. He's just mentioning Show Kasugi. American, and that's right. His son is I think his son is he did his son did Ninja 1 and 2. Show did American Ninja. We covered American Ninja.
Oh, American Ninja 1, I used to love that movie so much back in the 80s.
Uh, uh, hey Jim, how are you? How are you? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Yeah, me and the Bat, we covered the American Ninja. He possesses great skills.
How
King,
many movies
that's
are in that series?
I think 4. Ken Kasugi did he did the 2 ninja movies with Scott Adkins.
Okay.
Yeah, good
Okay.
movies too. Not as good as his dad. He could definitely, but he's got some skills.
Don't think
Good,
I've
good
seen
move.
those.
Good movies. Good movies. Poor. Yeah. See, Al says there were 5 American Ninjas.
Was Michael Dudikoff in all of them? I don't think he was
No,
he?
no.
Okay.
I think David Bradley is his name. I think he did a couple of those.
Okay. I've
Uh,
only ever seen the first one.
yeah, he did the first 2. Then I think he was off. There's the Domination, and then there was 2 with David Bradley, and I think he came back for the 5th one. Michael Dudikoff
Ah,
came back for the 5th one.
okay.
Al says that 4th one. Was he in the 4th one? I thought he was in the 5th one. The one where they battled Morjo Gortner. God, talk about who's the worst actor you ever seen? Tell me your worst
Oh.
actor, and 3 worst actors, 3 best actors, 3 worst actresses, 3 best
Oh,
actors.
this is no, you're putting so much pressure on me because now I got to think off the top of my head. Um, Oh, that's difficult. I
Sorry.
can't
Sorry,
I can't
we'll be sitting over here talking American Ninja while you write out your answers.
honestly, I can't do there've been some really there's been some terrible actors and actresses I've seen that I don't know what their names are. So,
So are you a big Emma Stone fan then?
I am not a big Emma Stone fan, but I know that she's a good actor, but I have zero interest to see Poor
Hmm.
Things.
Yeah. I don't know
I
what that is. I don't know how that works. I don't know. I just don't get it. I
You
mean,
mean the story?
I know, just I don't get how people look at her and go like, "Oh yeah, she's like the next Meryl Streep," and it's just like, have you not watched Meryl Streep act before?
I mean, she's a good actor. I don't think she's the best actor I've ever seen. She's decent, but yeah, I had no interest at all in Poor Things. I knew from the trailer I wasn't interested to watch it.
Do you like art house movies? Do you go see a lot of art house movies, or you do you like just well, is it more comfortable do a mainstream film? Because I think you do. I think you got a good indie cred.
It all depends on the story. Like there's some artsy schmartsy movies that I watch that I cannot stand. Like I absolutely hate. I did not like. Okay, I consider this well, I don't know if this is considered an art house stop motion. I didn't like stop motion. And The Green Knight.
Uh-oh.
I didn't like The Green Knight.
I know. I was trying to get. I was going to try to get around doing this, but I guess
Uh-oh.
gloves are thrown off now. Because okay. So I happen to love Ashleen Francosi.
She's a good
She,
actor. I have nothing against her at all as an actor. I just the
yeah.
story I didn't
Um,
like.
I have to see that movie, but I know
You
I
haven't
love her.
seen it yet?
I watched. You've never seen our IFC show.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, me and three other people, we put together an IFC show where we review them once a month because no one else does. Hardly anybody ever reviews anything IFC. This actually,
Okay.
I swear to God, this is the most I've ever seen any of these channels here in our community. Late Night with the Devil is the most I've ever seen anybody
I
review
was
one movie.
I was getting ready to say Late Night was IFC. I didn't realize it was stop motion IFC. I guess I didn't realize that because, like I said, I don't always pay attention to the studio or who what's attached to it. Have you seen Late Night yet?
I am not. I'm gonna be trying to get a see. I'm what we call a budget bala for the professor. A budget bala means I have to watch my pennies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't get advanced copies, and I can't go out there and pluck down $20 for a movie. So I have to.
Yeah.
I get my movies from the library. So I
Oh,
have to be
okay.
patient. I have to be patient and be hopeful that they will drop some movies there. Like today, I didn't. There was nothing there for me to buy. Zero. So
Oh.
yeah. So, but I will watch it. I will see it. Eventually, I will get it. Um, I don't know when, but I will watch it, and I'm very excited about that because I posted this on my Facebook channel, and this is true. Any ISC movie with the title "devil," the word "devil" in the title, is going to be phenomenal, and it really has been. If you really think about some of the ISC movies that have come out with the word
You have
"devil"
to
in it,
throw some out at me because I it's
the
not
devil's candy, I
okay.
trapped the devil's doorway. Um,
Wow, they
let's
did
see.
do did put a lot with devil in.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Okay.
the devil.
Are they trying to tell us something?
Yes, the devil is ISC's friend. Yeah,
I
you go.
It sounds like.
And all the movies there are really good. Antichrist. I mean, you can put that on there, even though it's not technically devil, but it is. And that was the first movie they ever released on ISC Midnight was Antichrist,
Okay.
which is a very disturbing movie.
I've heard
Which is
of
what
that, but I never saw it.
which is why, of course, and we were talking about Ashleen from stop motion. She did a great movie called The Nightingale.
I heard about that one.
That is a really good movie.
Yeah, I heard enough about it that I was like, I don't think I'm interested too much in this one.
Oh, you would be. Actually, I'm sitting here thinking about that, looking at you, talking with you. Yeah, you would. That's in your wheelhouse.
Ugh.
Yeah,
uh,
hell yeah. Um, so now tell me something. Okay, because I won't put you under pressure to give me your three. Well, tell me three favorite actors. Then I know you can do favorites. You can do favorites of actors and actresses. You don't have to do the worst.
So, well, my
Well, let's
absolute
not.
favorite obviously is Arnold, just because he means so much to me.
Okay.
But as far as like favorites, I don't necessarily have like, oh, this is my absolute favorite actor. There are actors I like, actors I'm neutral on, and actors I don't like, and actors that I dislike maybe to the extent that I avoid stuff they're in because I dislike them so much. I can tell you those. I can tell you
Okay.
some of those. One of those at
Okay.
the top of the list of actors that I dislike to the point that I really don't like to see things they're in. I have. I just don't like them. Natalie Portman is one.
Okay. Okay.
Brie Larson. Brie Larson is another. I really do not like Brie Larson at all. Like,
I don't know why.
at
I
all.
don't know why. Is that because I mean, I noticed that one thing with Brie Larson. I like her, but I will give you this. It does seem that she cannot emote at all. Like she's very she's not an emotional actress.
Well,
You know,
definitely in Captain Marvel, she was very stone faced.
yeah,
She would I felt like she emoted a little bit more in Skull Island, but yeah, she did play a very not hugely emotional character. I mean, she did win an Oscar, but
yeah.
I didn't see the movie that she won the Oscar for, so I don't know how good her
Room.
acting was.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Room. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. I know. I mean, I know a lot of the Marvel fanboys hate up on her, and it's just like, man, let me take you around back here. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
she did
I think.
not do herself any. So I was kind of like meh on her before because I remember her from Skull Island. I'm like, okay, I'm looking forward to Captain Marvel, and I guess she's a good pick. And yeah, I don't think she helped herself by some of the things she said. That really turned me off of her when she said these things, and I just didn't. And also another thing, I kind of have this sort of a sixth sense for people that have a super inflated sense of themselves, and she's one of them, and that's a turn off. So that's another reason.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't heard of that. I mean, I hadn't not read any. I guess enough of her. I thought she did great in the Avengers movies. I thought she did well. Captain Marvel was not her fault. Everybody harped on her about
You mean
Captain
as far
Marvel. It's
as
like,
like the
oh,
story itself? It wasn't a good story for sure. The
oh,
writing was
that was
not
some hot garbage. That was some
was
hot
not
garbage.
it was not good.
No,
Yeah.
no. I felt really, really bad for her because they came out with that, and I'm like, oh my god, who okayed this? Kevin Feige? Let me no, just absolutely no. But again, it's like all she did was got hired to play the role. Everything else around her was out of her hands. It's like this is what they gave her. Same thing with Dakota Johnson. They're talking
With
about
Madam
her and
Web.
Madam Web, and it's like it had nothing to do with any of the actresses playing in that movie.
Yeah.
She said she didn't do press for it. She said, I'm not doing press for this movie.
That's
The
right.
movie
She
that she
didn't,
signed
did she?
on, yeah, she said the movie that I signed on to act in is not the same movie that's at the theater.
Well,
This is not.
it was so frustrating when I watched Madam Web. So I went into Madam Web and people had determined before it came out it's going to suck, right? Well, I
Mhm.
didn't watch a trailer because I wanted to go in. I watch less and less trailers now because I don't want to be influenced by that. So
Right.
I went in and I had a completely open mind about this movie. I like Dakota Johnson, but that film was such a terrible, oh my goodness, the writing and she actually didn't do a good job and the acting in there. And I was like, wow, this is like I feel like she's proven she's not really leading lady material, which is a shame because I really liked her in Bad Times at El Royale.
Do you think she was self-conscious? Because that's the same thing
I
happened with George
wonder.
Clooney. The same thing happened to George Clooney with his Batman, when Batman and Robin. George
Mm,
Clooney's a really good actor, but if you watch that movie, man, other than
right?
other than Bruce Wayne, when he played Bruce Wayne, he looked totally out lost and not wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Self-conscious about. I mean, it showed on screen. It really showed on screen that he did not, and you wonder with someone like Dakota Johnson, it's like she realizes that the script is not the one that she auditioned for,
Could
signed up
be.
for,
Maybe
and
she
she
just
just
couldn't
like,
get herself into it. She just
we have
like, I am checked
we do
out.
have a question for you though. Our good friend Al Lacard wants to know what your favorite Bat movie is. Like creatures, flying bats. What's your favorite Bat movie?
Oh, bats as in bats, or I thought you
Yeah,
meant
like
Batman.
no, like in Dracula.
Oh. So I do like vampires. Vampires are okay, probably the Lost Boys.
So you just made Al's day with saying that.
I love the Lost Boys. I love vampires. I that's like my favorite sort of horror creature is a vampire.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, there you go, Al. Al will have a hard time walking on the ground now because now he's gonna be floating on the air, hanging upside down.
Oh, and Underworld is awesome. I love Underworld. That is also in my top
Yeah,
10.
yeah.
Celine is the coolest in there. She's so cool.
Celine, Kate
Celine,
Beckinsale,
Kate
and Sophia
Beckinsale.
Miles. Kate
Oh my
Beckinsale and Sophia
gosh.
Miles.
So
Uh,
cool, that black leather suit and the way her eyes would go and with the guns. Oh yeah. I love that movie.
let's see. Now we're talking about Eddie J. Gather says, "What about Tom Cruise's being a vampire?"
So yeah, Interview with the Vampire. It's interesting because I rewatched that not long ago when I was on Struggle Reviews TV channel, and the discussion was Interview with the Vampire, and I had seen that only once before, so I rewatched it, and I have more appreciation on the rewatch than I did when I saw it decades ago. Um, I he was okay. I thought he was funny. The way he played that part was kind of funny to me, actually. He was scary and funny at the same time.
Are critics allowed not to personally like actors like that when you do a review? I mean, let's say Emma Stone, you're not an Emma Stone fan, or a Brie Larson fan. How hard is it for you to do a movie? Let's just say that the last, let's say the Marvels, okay, which actually looks really fun. So you watch the Marvels, but you watch the movie, and maybe you're not a Brie Larson fan, but you watch the movie and you realize that this is not a bad movie. I like this movie. How do you separate that between you don't like
So
the person and versus the performance on the screen?
right. So obviously, film critics, they're supposed to try to be neutral,
Yeah,
or, whatever.
you
It
do a
does,
great
I
job at
think
that, by the way.
I try. I really do try. If I don't like something, I say right off the bat, and I will very openly say whether or not there's an actor I like or not. And when I reviewed May December, I don't like Natalie Portman, but I did say that she was fine in there. The story was just very icky. And it wasn't because of her. Had nothing to do with her. Just the
Right.
story, because you know what it's based on. I remember when this happened. Super disturbing material, and oh my gosh.
That's not the most disturbing I've seen Julianne Moore get though. She's done two other movies that I'm going like, really, Julianne? She did one called Chloe with Amanda Seyfried, and she
Oh,
did
I
one
don't
called
remember this
Savage
one.
Grace that
I did not see
came out on IFC. Of course they
Okay.
did. Right?
Oh,
Hey, hey,
IFC.
yeah,
We're right back around to that again. I know. I
yeah.
try. I try to not let my personal feelings affect what I think about the story itself, but sometimes I just decide I'm just not going to watch a film because I number one, I have no interest in the film, like let's say the story, because I do generally decide to watch based on whether I'm actually personally interested in it or not. Sometimes I will watch because I will like, okay, I'll do a review for the channel, but I'm not really interested. And one of those was Oppenheimer. I would have never gone to see Oppenheimer if it weren't for the channel. Also, I went to hang out with my dad and my brother and my son, so we all watched it together. Um, but yeah, I do try to just judge a movie based on those things. But yeah, sometimes it can creep in and affect
Is
whether or
it
not I
hard?
even
Do you generally go to the movies by yourself when
yeah,
you? I know
usually.
you go. Okay, I was gonna say. I
Yeah.
think I've read that most critics go by themselves, so they're not so they're not compromised by other people's opinions.
Well, that's honestly not why I go by myself. I
Oh,
go by myself because I don't have anybody to go with.
oh, okay.
Usually I don't because my husband's not as into movies as I am. He'd rather watch soccer. He's Mexican, so soccer is a huge thing. My son, he used to work in a movie theater, and if I go see movies with anybody the most, it's probably my son, but his work schedule doesn't always permit it. My daughter's not into movies as much as I am, and neither is her boyfriend. My mom and dad definitely aren't. It's very rare. I was able to drag them to go see Top Gun Maverick, but that's rare. And my brothers live in states far away from me. So I really have nobody to go watch movies with and hang with, which is why I love the YouTube movie community so much, because these are people that they get the love for movies. They understand. You know what I mean? Like y'all speak
Right.
my language.
Right.
So,
What do
yeah.
you, I tell you what, I'm going to end this on a really good note. But tell us about five of, shout out five of your favorite YouTube channels,
Oh, okay. All right. D Movie Man.
of course,
He's
and delete
he
scene.
he is fantastic. I love D. I got the chance to actually meet him face to face, and he is such a wonderful human being. The Latino Slant, Film Threat. Did you see that? And I also love Lisa Loves. She was on your channel a while
Yes.
back. There are
Yes.
so many good ones. These are the ones that are popping into my brain right away. And now watch later, I'll kick myself because, oh, I forgot so and so. Oh, I forgot so and so.
You forgot Now It's Dark. Well, don't worry, we can fix that. We know that Now Dark's one of your favorite channels. And also just walked in here, Upside Dan from the Mighty Cinema
Oh,
Squad.
Upside Down. Hey,
Yeah,
Dan.
yeah, that's
Yes.
right.
And Lost in the Reel, Sean, the Cinema
You
Squad.
know,
Yeah, all those guys.
oh my gosh, we've had some fun times with the Cinema Squad.
Oh, yeah.
I do believe that they'll be probably coming back to take over my channel again later on this year. They took it over last year.
Okay, how did this
And
happen?
I'm campaigning. I'm actively campaigning for Lisa Loves to become an
To
official member
become
of
a
the
Cinema
Cinema.
Squad member.
Yes,
She is
you too,
dying
right?
to be, she would love to be a Cinema Squad member.
I've already pretty much told them that she's part of the Cinema Squad, and I'm afraid I'm gonna have to bring out my heavy guns. I'm gonna have to start bringing out my heavy guns. I'm gonna have to bring out the Cheetah. We're gonna start taking over the Cinema Squad. But Lisa Loves definitely deserves to be a Cinema Squad member, and I've been saying that for the last year.
Yeah,
We're,
she loves them. She is a lot of fun to watch. I love Lisa. She's
and
great.
don't forget Sin here. She has over 16,000 subs. That's just a lot of people that she can get to sit there and throw some cinema pressure on the Cinema
Well,
Squad.
the, the thing about having X number of subs, most of those subs don't watch your stuff. Isn't that
Oh,
crazy? Like just a tiny percentage of people watch your things compared to the subs that you have. Unless you're like someone like the Critical Drinker or whatever. But I'm not him and I never will be. So it's
I've
just
never heard of that guy.
yeah, he's an author who is also a movie critic. He's huge. Like he started blowing up a few years ago. I did interview him on my channel before he got too huge to approach. But yeah, it's interesting. And when you live stream, just a tiny percent of your subscriber base are actually watching your live stream. It's crazy. I've seen people
Yeah,
with 200 and some thousand subscribers when they do a live stream. Maybe they'll get 30 to 50 people watching. It's
yeah, it
like
is amazing.
what?
It is amazing. I agree. I don't know how that works. It's just so many channels out there or what. But
Yeah.
I definitely am grateful for everybody that comes out and watches us. And like I said, I'm relatively new to your channel. I just, and then I knew we were going to be doing this once I saw you mention remember.
Oh,
I knew
that's
right
what
then
did
and
it.
there. We'll be talking. Because like I said, no one else talks about it. So when I caught that, I'm like, our friend American Werewolf in New Jersey, he was like that too. Him and Knight both we were talking about a dark song, and when I saw him mentioning it, I'm like, oh yeah, we're talking to him too. Um, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we will wrap that up for this edition of 8 Questions With. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself. Hopefully we had you some good questions, talking some very good movies. And we'll like to have you back sometime,
Sure,
maybe
absolutely.
for fall time, and
Yeah.
have you come back. We'll probably end up not talking about the award season. Um,
Right.
we will be back tomorrow night, however, as we will be talking with actress Carrie Goodwin. Carrie is an excellent actress. She is part of the Rio Bravo franchise that is happening right now. She is an excellent horsewoman. and like I said, a very fine actress as well. And she'll be here, and we will be talking Western movies, independent dramas, and holding and shooting a six shooter. That will be tomorrow night, and then Thursday we'll be back with Greta Volkova. She has done a lot of Mark Polonia films, and she is also a cat lover. That gets her some bonus points already.
Mhm.
And she will be here Thursday night at 8 o'clock, and we'll be talking all things Sharkenstein and Bigfoot versus zombie. Hey, those are high quality movies, Missy. Don't
I believe you. I believe you.
we can't crush the Polonia. Um,
Am I
yeah,
allowed to ask a question of you?
yes,
I just have a burning question. Where does the title of your channel come from?
it actually came from my favorite Western series.
Oh, okay.
Have Gun Will Travel,
Oh,
which starred
okay.
Richard Booth,
Okay.
and the cheetah's name is Paladin.
Oh, okay. Have
So
Cheetah will view. Okay.
uh, I know people are like, what kind of channel name is
I was
that?
just trying to figure out gaps. What's this?
No, normally he would come by and jump on there and make a run by me, but that generally doesn't really happen until the weather gets a little bit warmer. But
Ah,
yeah. But thank you guys all in the chat for coming out and supporting this.
yes. Thank you.
This has been so much fun. I'm so glad you came out and hung out with us. Stay right where you're at. And to the chat, thank you guys for your support. I appreciate it so much. The Boneyard will be on tonight. I gave the Boneyard back. I stole it for a night. I'm giving it back to Bones. He will be on the Boneyard, Mr. Bones. So head on over there and hang out with Echo and Mr. Bones later on tonight. What do you got going on your channel for the rest of this week, Sin?
So I'm going to be on a live stream on Thursday, on Paul's channel. Off the Cover, I think, is the name of his channel. And I got a review for Renegade Nell that I'm going to try to get out there. It's an upcoming Disney Plus show. And an audio review maybe for the first 3 episodes of X-Men 97. But other than that, I can't think of anything in the immediate. I'm going to try to do a live stream next week before I have to go out of town for like a week and a half or so.
It's sort of funny watching the X-Men get all the hype for that one for the one series Marvel ever got right. One series, all the TV series that Marvel ever got right for their animation department, X-Men one.
X-Men,
DC,
yeah. Yeah,
DC,
DC's
everything they put out.
solid animation with DC. I've liked almost everything. I think probably the one that I saw that I liked the least was The Killing Joke. I wasn't crazy about that one.
No, I didn't. I didn't like that one either. But
See, yeah.
the one I thought was, I actually thought was way better than Avengers Endgame was Apocalypse War, Justice League Dark
Have
Apocalypse War.
not seen that one yet.
Blow your mind. It's so
Okay.
good, so good,
Okay.
so good. I just you just want to you really just look at DC and say, why don't you just give this to Sam Register and Andrea Romano and let them have at it? Now we're gonna get James Gunn and his.
I don't understand. There is so much material that is available for DC movies.
Mhm.
I just don't understand why they haven't been able to get it right. Now, I've loved a lot of DC movies, but I do see that they've got an issue with it. I don't get it. Oh well.
Yeah, they keep on. It's a real shame. Is that it's a real shame, and I give him credit. I really do. I think they overpowered him. His power set was way overpowered. But God bless Dwayne Johnson for actually getting the Black Adam
Oh,
out.
Black Adam.
I thought the scenes that I saw, I'm like, okay, for one thing, I love Black Adam. I know he's a powerful character. Ain't no way he's stopping. Ain't no way he's stopping Doctor Fate. This is
Mm,
not going to happen. Not going to happen. I don't care what world you're in. Doctor Fate goes nose to nose with the Spectre. Yeah, you're not doing that.
mm,
Other than that, I just love the fact that he actually got it to the screen and incorporated the JLA in there, and I thought it was amazing. And I'm like, this everybody should have been supporting this, except for the fact where the only thing that killed me was you see Dwayne Johnson going, okay, I'm going to go shoot. I'm off shooting Black Adam, and you think that he's going to be gone for like 3 or 4 months. He comes back 2 weeks and I'm like, oh, that's not good.
Oh, I didn't realize he didn't spend that a huge amount of like Black Adam was okay. I could just kind of felt meh about Black Adam. It was all right. My favorite scene in that movie was when he first was awakened and
Yes,
he goes all hardcore on those people around him. I was like, okay, that's impressive. But
and it
and
stayed true to the character. It stayed true to the character.
yeah,
I mean, Black Adam's not a he's not he will he's not afraid to to go to go big or go home. He's
yep,
not,
yep,
his character's always been that way.
yep.
But I just felt like they overpowered him too much,
Mm,
and the way they play Shazam, they're setting up at the end with him and Superman. It's like, of
right.
course they had to set him up with him and Superman because they've already screwed up Shazam. No one's going to take Shazam and Black Adam going nose to nose seriously because Shazam has been two comedies.
Yeah, they turned Shazam into too much of a I don't know, too much of a cartoony, goofy character. I wasn't super crazy about the Shazam movies either, and they were
No,
okay, but
I
they
wasn't
didn't
either.
really strike an emotional chord for me.
No, and they made it too much. They made it too comedy, and it's just
Yeah,
like you can't pair up him with his natural enemy, which is Black Adam.
right.
You're going to bring Superman into it, and Superman and Black Adam. That's not the fight you want to see. You want to see Shazam and Black
Yeah.
Adam going.
Well, that's not going to
Um,
happen. I don't think.
no,
Not anytime
no,
soon.
yeah. All right. Hi Kevin, how are you? Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us for a brief couple of minutes. We are gone, so thank you so much. We'll see you over at the Boneyard later on tonight. Stay right where you at, Sin. Everybody else, good night. We'll see you tomorrow night with
Bye.
Goodwin. Peace. Okay. Ta-da.